This year I have no hearing. I can't lose my sight. It was diagnosed as a condition called uveitis. It almost damaged my vision permanently. First round of uveitis I had ended up going pan, which means the inflammation went all throughout my eye. It was the worst case scenario. I felt like I couldn't see. It was kind of like a blurry pinhole, and I thought my eye was going to explode. When this affected eye was moving, opening and closing with light, because it was very light sensitive, like I had to be in a cave. Every time my eye would contract and dilate, it would just burn inside, and I could feel every contraction and dilation. I told my specialist that I was feeling like this, especially the very first flare up the first one I ever had, which was 4 years ago. Like someone had threaded a needle, put it under my skin, and was pulling it up here. It felt like right under here, I could feel the whole thing, this whole nerve going through, and my face was hot and swollen, and it felt like somebody was just pulling on, it would burn. That made her wonder if it was shingles based. So she did start me on an antiviral medication that was, expensive. It helped, along with the steroid eye drops. That helped a lot. After 6 to 8 weeks of antiviral medication, thousands of dollars in testing, in lab work, I was almost to the point that I was going to have to get injections in my eye to reduce the inflammation. Eye drops every day, 3 times a day for 6 weeks. It finally started to reduce. 6 to 8 weeks, actually. That was the first time it happened. The second time it happened, 2 years later, almost exactly, this is what it looked like. We could never determine the root cause. It didn't get nearly as bad. I had a specialist that I could immediately go back to. Uveitis can come out and affect people with metabolic disorders, like a list of things. They tested me for HIV, AIDS, syphilis. I don't have any of the underlying conditions that can contribute to uveitis. We knew my eye was inflamed. I do know that both times I had flare-ups. I had one in 4 years ago, the end of 2019, and then I had a second flare-up. It was 2 years later. I healed from that one much quicker. I think it took about a month of consistent steroid eye drops. I know both times I had flare-ups, I had eaten dry-aged beef or dry-aged bacon. When I had that reaction in January to something that I ate, completely freaked me out. And that is what happened. I know that I started to get like floaters and like a shadow, which I still have a floater even 5 months after eating carnivore. And I felt that burning nerve pain in my eye. And I thought, there's no way I'm going through this again. So fast forward, a few days later, histamine intolerance elimination diet, ruminant meat, fresh beef. That's it. And I have not had any of that issue. I do still, just in case, carry around steroidal eye drops, just because that can calm down, but I'm not going to go through that. My vision health is very important to me. The very first thing that's the most important to me is my brain health, neurological. I want to be able to think about things, and I want to take that into the rest of my life. The second thing I want to take into the rest of into my old age and the rest of my life is my vision. I was not going to play around with that. That was one of the driving forces of starting a complete elimination diet. That was how desperate I was, because my vision health, my brain health, vision health, and then my body health are the most important. My priorities to take me into longevity. Will I have to eat a complete elimination diet for the rest of my life? I don't know. I don't have any cravings for food. There's not a lot of food that I wish that I could eat. I do know that I'm still a little sensitive to pork, but maybe I don't have to eat this way for the rest of my life. Maybe it's just, you know, a period of time. Maybe it's just, you know, through my 40s and 50s. I don't know. I'd like to live into my 80s or 90s, and I'd like to be able to walk. I would like to not have pain. I'd like to have my brain health and my vision health. So these are the things. So if I have to only eat beef, eggs, butter, coffee, I can live with that. I can do that. Because now I eat to live. I don't live to eat. So